Fit again, and hello, it's Fo, and welcome back to Turbine City. Last time we'd got up to around 967,000. Letting it run, letting everybody come in. We do seem to be getting an increase in the crime rate. Obviously we're adding more citizens in, but we're not able to construct any more police services for them. We've turned off the recreational use and turned on the harsh prison sentences. See if that's going to make any difference. We can try a couple of different combinations of policy use. See if we can cut back on the crime. Seems to be getting slightly worse. So maybe having the recreational use on is helping rather than hindering us. So I'll get this zoning done. I'll maybe get that turned back on. Trying to cut down on useless little zoning. We generally just want big buildings of 4s coming in, especially with the low density stuff. We don't need any little buildings coming in. We do want to maximize the space that we're creating with all this housing. Just getting a little bit of low density in, just to mix it up a little bit, so it doesn't seem so blocky. Looks like we've cut off the power to this upper section. We can try popping in just one office, just a little 4x4, see if that connects the power back across. Get everything fixed. Turn up our industrial demand a little bit, just so our office grows in. Give it a slightly higher priority. Might be better if we actually build it over here. We can carry the power from our Pokestop across to this office. That should get everything hooked up. Get rid of this one over here. So let that one office come in. That should connect the power across. Get everything fixed again. Yeah, it's satisfying to see all the problems getting resolved. Shame we can't do the same with the crime. Yeah, the crime seems to be getting worse. So I don't think this combination of policies is any better. Turn back on the recreational use. We'll leave on the harsh prison sentences. We'll try that combination. See if that helps. While we get the rest of the people in. So we managed to get up to 670. I'll drop down a save here. I'm looking on the workshop for something to help us with crime. I've found this mod that can remove the need for the police. So we'll go on and get that turned on. Have a look at the options as well. I don't think we have any pollution problems per se. I think we can turn these off, we don't need them. It's more the crime and the garbage that I'm interested in. So we'll turn both of these on and get back into the game. See if that resolves the problems. I'm going to let it run and see if all these crime icons disappear. I did have a crash. I've been through this all once already now. I basically went from here all the way up to 980,000. And then when I went to save it, it crashed on me. So I'm going to get more frequent saves in this time around. So if I do have to go back, I don't have to go back as far. So every couple of thousand, I'm going to drop down a save, rather than waiting all the way until the 980,000. Yeah, that mod does seem to clear up all our crime problems, because we can't extend our services anymore. I think we have to kind of resort to this. I'll check out a few cinematics. It's boosted our growth rate, because everyone's a lot happier now. So we'll let everyone come in and fill up those extra spaces that they were reluctant to come into before. Yeah, we've removed some of our small roads. Doesn't look unnatural. In a way, I think it makes the areas look slightly more interesting. That's a bit more variety. Can always come back with some trees and some paths and things. If we've got any patches that look kind of bare. But generally, the city's looking nice and full. Like I say, since I started and I've been using the 25 tiles, I've always wanted to get a city up to 1 million. But looking on the internet, it didn't seem like it was possible. People have tried and not managed to get all the way. Even with reducing the citizen limits by taking away seagulls and things. Trying to eliminate some of the non-resident citizens. Forgotten to turn this value back up again and get it fixed. That'll definitely help for maximising getting people in. So yeah, let this run, let them all come in. Drop down a save. As I say, I want to save often, so we don't lose any progress. We're definitely going to need this other half of the tile to maximise getting everyone in. Still need around 30,000 more people. Not using the small roads, having it completely packed with housing of the different types. We're definitely not getting as many people in as before per tile. I'm going to move this rail back a little bit so we've got the most room possible to work with. And we'll get some roads in here. Like I say, I thought we'd maybe get there in the room that we had. Maybe leave this as just some natural terrain. But it turns out, no, we're not going to fit everyone in here. Again, we can't make bridges because the pillars count as structures, which counts towards our building count. So we're just going to go underground. I'm going to try and match up these tunnels so the roads line up. Try and keep it square. Yeah, we'll just get the road network, just the large roads and medium roads in here. Like I say, I want to be as efficient as possible. Don't want to have to delete half the city to get enough housing to get up to 1 million. As I say, I'm not even sure we can get there. According to our show limits, it looks like we can. I'm not getting too excited about it. I've waited 5 years to try and get city up to 1 million, but from everything I've read, it's not possible and people get stopped right before the end sort of thing. So I'm going for it, but not expecting to get there. We've got our roads in, got our water pipes in. It's ready to get some zoning. One thing I did want to do before the end was to try and tidy up the Industries DLC stuff. The original plan was to do a bit of research, see where I'm going wrong, see the best way to set up the areas, and then rework things a little bit, get rid of some of the duplicate assets, unnecessary sort of excess assets, and replace them with more sort of storage buildings. Try and set up the areas a little bit better. But because of the building limit, we're not going to be able to add back in buildings, like the storage buildings, to replace the assets that we remove. So it might just be a case of removing some assets. That should give us a little more headway with the building count. Give us a little more margin to work with. Get rid of a few of those assets. We've still got a fair number of complaint icons. Things aren't really working. I guess we could go by and turn on the policies on for all the different areas before we get into removing assets and things. Give them their best chance to work properly before we abandon them altogether. Get rid of this school. Any schools and car parks we can get rid of, really. As well as obviously our excess zoning on the small roads, where we sort of made our barriers double thick. We can remove a layer of them. In the gaps, where we've deleted schools and car parks and things, we can try and get a little bit of zoning in here as well. If we don't have enough room in the area that we're working with, in the 25th tile, we can always come back in and straight up swap some zoning around. See if we can get some more residential placed in the guts of the city. Got some ones along here. The dreaded one zoning. I think we must have had buildings in here before, taking up most of these little squares. There was only room for edges, the little ones of zoning, right along the roadside. So that's hopefully a whole bunch of other buildings that we can replace with actual 4x4s and get more population into. We just need to keep going round, finding excess zoning, deleting the roads, swapping things around, and we should be able to get all that housing filled in. See where it takes us up to. Again, these healthcare buildings, we've got so many in the city. Our health is fine, so I think we can delete a few of the health buildings, community pools and gyms and things. We do have heaps of them about. Yeah, the education buildings and the car parks, they're the easiest targets. So we're beyond the car parking limit. And obviously our education has been taken care of with our monument. So yeah, we'll find little things to tidy up, so we can get enough room in the building limit to get all our buildings in. Don't want any disconnected power grids. Have a little look around the city, quick scan over, make sure we've got no small areas that are somehow cut off because we've removed some zoning or something. No, I think we're fine. I think notification was just trolling us. I've got some gaps that we can pop some trees in where we've removed things. Just left some bare areas. And we'll just keep up with the tree covering where we create any gaps. Keep it looking good. So yeah, we'll let them come in, get up to the 975. And again, I'll drop down a save. So if it does crash, I don't have to come back too far. Yeah, when we're pushing it, we're using all these extra mods and things. It does make the game more likely to crash. So regular saves are the way forward. All this zone is coming in nicely. Get a little more planned out for them. Along to the end of this road. And bit by bit, we can work our way up. Get that area all filled out. Just keep coming back and deleting excess buildings, so we can generate the buildings we want. A lot of our stuff over here is so well connected with pathways, we can't really destroy any of the small roads. Just be leaving pathways to nowhere. Get rid of a few bits over here. Obviously we were trying at one point to maximize our farming tiles, That's a concern long in the past now. I'm going to trim down this area a little bit. Again, where we've left gaps, we can always get in some more housing along here. Can always come back in and fill in some over the other side of the road later on if we do fill up our tile and run out of space. Got little bits and bobs, little spaces within the city that we can fill out. Get rid of this one little road down here. And a little bit by little bit, hollow out a few unnecessary areas, get them filled back in with trees. I say I only want to sort of delete as much as I need to. Just get the last of the housing in. This is not carrying power across, so we're fine to dezone this. Again, free up a few more buildings. We'll see where that takes us up to. A couple more in here as well. As I say, hopefully this is going to give us the margin that we need. Get the slot to all come in. I'll go it up to 980 and drop down a save. I'm going to turn on these extra options just to make sure the city is as fantastic as it can be. It occurred to me that not having any parks or services this deep into the tile means that the buildings might not be leveling up to their maximum level. And the maximum level buildings have a higher capacity, so we'll be able to fit more people in. I think for the amount of high density buildings that we've made in this tile on both sides of the highway, we haven't got as many people as I expected in, even without putting in small roads and having the low density housing. I'm still expected to be closer to the million. So I'll get all this zoned in. As I say, hopefully with having the land value and the attractiveness etc. all turned up, means that all the buildings that come in here will get up to their maximum level and provide the most room for citizens. And we can really get up close to that million. Fix our residential demand. Not too concerned if the other ones dip down. If we lose a few offices or residential, that's no biggie. We are just focused on the housing now. I've let it run to the 985. Again, drop down the save so we don't lose any progress. I'm confident enough now that we can turn down the budget on our police service and our garbage service down to 100% again. Now that should be taking care of itself. Maybe turn the water up a little bit since we're getting in more properties. Just make sure they've got enough water and sewerage to keep them covered. We're getting there. Can get on all these policies. Turned on for all our industries DLC areas. Mostly got them turned on for the first two areas and let it run for a bit. So we've got a more accurate representation of which assets really aren't working. If we get them turned on everywhere else, means that we can come back to these areas in a little while if we need to delete any extras and make a little more space, a little more room up against the housing limit to get those extra buildings in. So over here we can delete a couple of these things. Don't think we need 4 or 5 of each of the processing buildings. The oil area is the worst. Heaps and heaps of pumps. And these ones over next to the housing, we definitely don't need them. So yeah, we can get rid of a whole bunch of things here. These small pumps, hopefully, if they count as one asset each, replacing these small things with a big high-density residential building is a very good trade. Hopefully it'll work twofold for us. It'll be reducing the industrial vehicles, the amount of traffic that's kicking about this area. Hopefully that'll leave up some room with the vehicle limit, and we can spawn more service vehicles. We won't have despawning issues. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a bit better balanced out. Pretty sure my previous more successful iterations of the industries areas had less assets in them. So maybe just by trimming back some assets, probably make the area work more efficiently. As I say, hopefully that's going to give us some room for some more buildings. We'll get more guys building in here. And again, with our mod set up, we'll get everybody leveled up. And really maximise the people that we get in here. Where we've deleted our small roads, we can always come back and pop in paths. Any little gaps that we're leaving, we can come back in with paths and trees. But as I say, I think it makes the areas look slightly more interesting. That's a bit more variety. Yeah, we're certainly getting there. Place is looking good. Just need to get those last few thousand in. Oh, camera's going to get over the Eiffel Tower again. I might turn back on the day-night cycle at some point. The city does look better at night, all lit up with all the lights on. It does look fine as it is. It doesn't look terrible during the day. I think it just looks a little more alive at night when you've got all the lights on the buildings. Gives you a greater sense of the amount of people that live in the city and when they're all in for the night with all their lights on, etc. Yeah, we'll get that back on at some point. Just now we'll just keep doing what we were doing. A little more redevelopment. Cut back in these excess assets. And we'll leave it a bit longer, I think, before we get too heavy into reducing the assets in the other areas. I want to leave them time with the policies on. We'll try and get them as good as they're getting. Yeah, there's plenty more things we can get rid of. Schools and car parks. Just to give ourselves a little bit more room. Yeah, and just trim back a few things in each area. Yeah, they seem to be complaining. We're getting there. Hopefully get up to the 990,000. Just find a few little areas. We can sort of trim back. Let's say we can always get back in with the paths and trees, etc. If where we delete things that looks kind of gappy. But so far it looks fine. Doesn't look as though anything's really missing when these bits get redeveloped. That should be enough. Yeah. Certainly this top strip, I think we've redeveloped enough. So we'll let all them come in, and we'll get up to the 990 and then we'll call it a day. Leaves us with only 10,000 to go until we can get to the mystical million. So we'll come back next time and pick up where we left off. Until then, take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.